Hello students, welcome back to my class. As I told yesterday, today I will continue my previous class, my yesterday class. So today I will try to discuss, that is I will try to cover the following areas, that is remaining part of the text, part 4 and part 5, textual questions, that is under the section reading with insight, and also some additional short answer type questions of 2 marks. So let us start with part 4. As in yesterday class we have already discussed that Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram was called the Tiger King, and he was determined to kill 100 tigers in order to disprove the prediction of the astrologer. In part 4, I told you that we will get the answer to the questions in your read and find out section. What will the Maharaja do to find the required number of tigers to kill? So, what happened there? The Maharaja decided to marry. Maharaja decided to marry a princess from a state which has large tiger population. So let's begin the part 4. There are some interesting comment, ironical comment, and also overstatement. Look at this. The Maharaja's tigers hunts continued to be highly successful. Within 10 years, he was able to kill 70 tigers. So he had already killed 70 tigers, and then an unforeseen hurdle brought his mission to a standstill. The tiger population became extinct in the forest of Pratibandhapuram. So look at this, tiger population became extinct because this is an indirect comment on ecology also. But Maharaja's logic, Maharaja's reason was devoid of any kind of consideration of ecology, etc. He was driven by his whims and fancies. And extinct in the forest of Pratibandhapuram, who knows whether the tiger practiced birth control or committed harakiri. Harakiri is a ritual of suicide that is practiced in Japan, or simply ran away from the state because they desired to be shot by British hands alone. So here is also a tint of humor. So this is also a exaggeration and overstatement, because there is reference of even suicide or that is practiced in Japan, which is termed harakiri. Now, then what happened? Maharaja, so in this section we will find out what will he do ultimately to get the required number of tigers to be killed. So he called his divan and he told that he wanted to get married. And the condition of his marriage was that he will have to find a princess from a state which has large tiger population. And then he ordered Divan, and Divan executed his order and found out a girl from a state which possesses a large number of tigers. And each time he visited his father-in-law's house, he killed at least 5 or 6 times each time, and therefore in this manner 99 tigers. He killed 99 tigers, and 99 tiger skins adorned the walls of the reception hall in the Pratibandhapuram place. So Maharaja had already killed 99 tigers, but astrologer predicted that he would die by the 100 tigers. So there was it was his decision that he would not rest until he killed the 100 tigers. And look at this section. In the conversation between the Divan and the Maharaja, there is very much humor, because I am just reading it quickly. Follow what I am saying. Diwan Sahib, are not you aware of the fact that 30 tigers still remain to be shot down by this gun of mine? He asked, brandishing his gun. Brandishing means waving a weapon in a threatening and aggressive way. Shuddering at the sight of the gun, the Diwan cried out, Your Majesty, I am not a tiger. Which idiot would call you a tiger? No, and I am not a gun. You are neither tiger nor gun, Diwan Sahib. I summoned you here for a different purpose. I have decided to get married. The Diwan began to babble. Babble means to talk in a quick and exciting way that is difficult to understand. Even more, Your Majesty, I have two wives already. If I marry you, don't talk nonsense. Why should I marry you? What I want is a tiger. Your Majesty, please think it over. Your ancestors were married to the sword. If you like, marry the gun. A tiger king is more than enough for this state. It doesn't need a tiger queen as well. The Maharaja gave a loud crack of laughter. So in this episode, in this conversation between Diwan and the Maharaja, there is humor. I am telling you this because if you get questions, that is point out the humor in the story. It's likely that you can get this type of question, so you can point out this line. Now come to part 5. Here is so in part 4 we have seen that Maharaja had already killed 99 tiger and in this manner 99 tiger skins adorn the walls of the palace of Pratibandhapuram. And now come to part 5, where it is read and find out section. Look at this. How will the Maharaja prepare himself for the 100 tiger which was supposed to decide his fate? The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch when there remained just one tiger to achieve his tally of 100. He had this one thought during the day and the same dream at night. By this time the tiger farms had run dry even in his father-in-law lost kingdom. So here is also a reference of extinction of tiger because it's endangered species and it was becoming extinct. But Maharaja was aware of the fact that or of the prediction of the astrologer that the 100 tiger would be the reason of his death. And he said the tiger is savage beast after all, and one should be wary of it. Wary means cautious of it. Now what? And the Maharaja sank in gloom because he couldn't do what he wanted to do. But soon came the happy news which displayed the gloom. So what was the happy news? What was happy news for the Maharaja? It was not the actually happy news. Actually what happened, the sheep disappeared from the village and there were two persons, the name of them were Khadir Milan Sahib and Birasamini Naikar, and there is also humor in this section. Both famed for their ability to swallow sheep whole. So they are also not present in the village. So what could be the reason that the sheeps disappeared from the village? So it might be the act of a tiger. So this was a happy news for Maharaja. The tiger was not easily found, but what happened? The tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly hid itself in order to flout the Maharaja's will. The Maharaja was equally determined. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury and obstinacy mounted alarmingly. Many officers lost their jobs. One day when his rage was at its height, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. So look at this, because of Maharaja's whims and fancies, because he couldn't find a single tiger to kill in the village, many officers lost their job. And he even doubled the land tax. So actually you have already understood that this Tiger King, this chapter, this lesson, the Tiger King is a satire, and here the satire is evident. It's evident because here the author is indirectly commenting, ironically commenting on the autocrat, the Maharajas Maharajas of princely state of the then India were autocrats. Here he is referring to, here he is ironically commenting on that, that is on that attitude, commenting on that attitude of the Maharajas, autocratic attitude of the Maharajas. Now look at this line. It's I am not reading line by line or explaining line by line, but I am pointing out the main the important lines. Now in this line also there is a historical fact. Look at this. The people will become discontented, then our state too will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress. In that case you may resign from your post, said the king. So look at this, there is a reference of Indian National Congress. So I have told already that Kalki was a independence activist based, and that in India there was Indian National Congress because people were discontented with the princely state, the behavior of the Maharajas, the behavior of the royalty, because they showed their loyalty to the British. Then they were not concerned about the well-being of their people, and their Diwan pointed out to that fact that they will fall prey to the Indian National Congress. But that also didn't bother Maharaja. He says because he was very determined and he wanted to disprove the prediction of the astrologer, he wanted to save himself, he wanted to prove his bravery, he wanted to prove his courage. He says, in that case you may resign from your post, said the king. Then the Diwan went home convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results could be catastrophic. Catastrophic means full of difficulty. Felt the returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the people parks in Madras and kept hidden in his house. So the population of tiger, because he had already killed 99 tiger, and the population of tiger, the tiger became extinct. So he had to find out a tiger from the people park in Madras. And what did he do? At midnight, when the town slept in peace, the Diwan and his aged wife dragged the tiger to the car and shoved it into the seat. The Diwan himself drove the car straight into the forest where the tiger Maharaja was hunting. When they reached the forest, the tiger launched his satyagraha, and again historical reference, and refused to get out of the car. The Diwan was thoroughly exhausted in his efforts to haul the beast out of the car and push it down to onto the ground. On the same day, so they somehow the Diwan and his old wife, that is, dragged it out from the car, the tiger, and the tiger was very thin because it was brought from the people park in Madras. And on the following day, the same tiger wandered into the Maharaja's presence and stood as if in humble supplication. So this tiger was not fierce, and supplication means asking for something in a very humble way. So it was very timid, it was very thin, and Master, what do you command of me? It was with boundless joy that the Maharaja took careful aim at the beast. The tiger fell in a crumpled heap. So then the thin tiger came in front of Maharaja. It actually wandered in the forest, and Maharaja killed it. Maharaja, that is, aimed the gun. It took careful aim at the beast. Here is a dramatic irony. Here is a situation. It is very interesting situation. Now Maharaja was very happy because he has fulfilled his vow. He has fulfilled his promise that he would kill even the 100 tiger, and he would disprove the prediction of the astrologer. Then the Maharaja was overcome with elation. He was very much delighted. Then, ordering the tiger to be brought in the capital in great procession, the Maharaja hastened away in his car. But did the tiger actually die? What happened? After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The bafflement, the tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. The man realized that the tiger was not dead. The tiger was not dead because Maharaja missed his bullet. So this is the beginning of the dramatic irony. There is a question on dramatic irony in your textual question section, that is reading with insight. I will elaborate it later. Now it had just fainted from shock of the bullet whizzing past. Then what happened? The hunters wondered what they should do. They decided that the Maharaja must not come to know that he had missed the target. If he did, they could lose their jobs. One of the hunters took aim from the distance of 1 foot and shot the tiger. So one of the hunters killed the tiger, just taking aim from a distance of 1 foot. That is, it is very easy to kill that tiger. This time he killed it without missing his mark. Then, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in procession through the town and buried. A tomb was also erected over it. So a few days later, Maharaja's son's third birthday was celebrated. And he decided to, and then he turned his attention to the child, because before that it was only tiger that was in his mind, and he couldn't pay heed to anything. Then he wanted to celebrate his child's birthday, and he wished to give him some special gift. So he searched every shop but could not find anything so suitable. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift. So he thought that it was a perfect gift. The wooden tiger was the perfect gift for his son, and it cost only 2 annas and a quarter. But the shopkeeper thought that he would be punished if he quoted such a low price to Maharaja. Then he said, "Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship, a bargain at 300 rupees." And he sold the wooden tiger of only 2 annas and a quarter with 300 rupees. "Very good, let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday," said the king, and took it away with him. On that day, father and son played with the tiny little wooden tiger. It had been carved by an unskilled carpenter. Its surface was rough. Tiny slivers of wood stood up like quills all over it. One of these slivers, so what is sliver? Sliver is a small or thin pieces of something that cut or broken from a larger piece. So what happened? One of the sliver pierced the Maharaja's right hand. He pulled it out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. The next day, infection flared in Maharaja's right hand. In 4 days, it developed into a suppurating sore. Suppurating means forming or generating pus. Sore which spread all over the arm. 3 famous surgeons were brought in from Madras. After holding a consultation, they decided to operate. The operation took place. The 3 surgeons who performed it came out of the theatre and announced, the operation was successful. The Maharaja is dead. So there is another irony and another humor, introduction of humor here. The operation is successful, the Maharaja is dead. How can operation be successful if Maharaja is dead? In this manner, the 100 tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. So what is in this manner the 100 tiger? So this 100 tiger, was it really a tiger? Was it a actual tiger? It was a wooden tiger. But the author says that the 100 tiger took his revenge upon the Tiger King. Although the Tiger King didn't know anything, that he had missed the bullet and he had actually not killed the 100th tiger. So this is the story. This story is apparently, this is a very simple story, that the growing up of a Maharaja with everything English, that is, he even satirizing the author comment on, that is, satirizes on his upbringing, that he even didn't even drink anything but cow of an English milk, like that of comment. Then his exploits of as a king, his bravery, his courage, his killing of 99 tigers, and then ultimately his death. But this story is basically a satire on the whims and fancies of the Maharajas of the princely state, and also to the British officers, the prevailing situation in the pre-independence era. And now come to, this is the story. So far I have explained it. I think there will be no problem in answering the questions from this story, from this lesson. And as I have told you earlier, this is important to, that is yesterday, this is important to read the whole text, not because of answering the questions only, because English is a language. English is not, should not be treated as other subject. May it be English or is Bengali or Hindi, it's a language. So when you are reading a text, you should look into the words, the expressions, because you will have to apply this. You can apply this, you can implement your learning of this language in your future. So this is the story so far. So first part I have covered, that is remaining part of the text, part 4 and part 5. Now come to textual question, reading with insight. The first question is important and it's very interesting also. It's very much related to the text. Now come to, the story is a satire on the conceit of those in power. How does the author employ the literary device of dramatic irony in the story? I have throughout my reading or in the course of my teaching of this lesson, I have referred to irony. These are actually verbal irony, that is, the author has employed so much irony, ironical comment. These are actually, that is, something which is stated is quite opposite to what is intended. So this is called irony, verbal irony. Now what is dramatic irony? As there is a question on dramatic irony, I think I should clarify the concept of dramatic irony. Dramatic irony. What is dramatic irony? Dramatic irony is when the audience who had been given more information understands the situation more clearly than the characters do. And often this understanding leads to an element of suspense, because we know the characters will know the truth eventually, but don't know when or how. This is dramatic irony, because audiences are given more information, they know more than the characters, and that it creates a suspense in the audience, because we know that they will eventually know the truth, or it will result in some action, but when and how. This creates a suspense. This is actually how it happens in this story also. I told you in course of my teaching that the beginning of dramatic irony is where the tiger king missed the bullet, and he didn't know that he had actually not killed the 100th tiger. This is the beginning of the dramatic irony. And after that, what happens, the audience know that very well, the readers know that very well, but he doesn't know that, and eventually it became the reason of his death. This is the beginning of dramatic irony in the story. You can say there are 3 stages of dramatic irony: preparation, suspense and resolution. So here is the beginning, that is you can see the preparation, then the suspense, what will happen to the king, then the resolution, the ultimate death of the king. This is dramatic irony. If this question, exactly this questions comes in your, or any question on dramatic irony comes or in your examination, you can refer to this and you elaborate your answer. And this question also includes that the story is a satire on the conceit of those in power. It's obvious, it's very evident in the story that the narrator, the author, satirizes the princely state, the kings of the princely state, who their whims and fancies, and also their loyalty, their blind loyalty to the British officers without thinking anything of the of their people, of their own people. And there is also, look at the marriage of Maharaja. It was based on the consideration of tiger population, not on the virtues of that girl, based on love and virtues of that girl or the princess. So this is also, the author has satirized this part also, and conceit of this power, and all of these, all these things that Maharaja did, because it was to exhibit, that is, he wanted to exhibit his power, his bravery, his courage, however fake it may be. Now come to the, what is the author's indirect comment on subjecting innocent animals to the willfulness of the human beings? This is the second question, question number 2. Then come to fifth number question, similar question. We need a new system for the age of ecology, a system which is embedded in the care of all people and also in the care of the earth and all life upon it. So it's a in these questions you will have to comment on the ecological balance. The tiger population, it has becoming extinct, because we must save ecology, that every creature has its own place in this ecology, however fierce it may be made, be a tiger or a snake. Okay, now this is the, I think these 3 questions are important of reading with insight section. Now come to some short questions, that is additional short answer type questions. I am just telling you quickly what kind of questions can come from this story, or what are the important questions. First question, how did the crown prince Jung Bahadur grow up? In the second part you will get the answer. Why did the Maharaja ban tiger hunting in the state? Because he only he wanted to kill the tiger. He prohibited everybody to kill a tiger, even to fling a stone. What did the infant born just 10 days tell the wise astrologer? This is the interesting part in the first part. Why did the Maharaja decided to get married? That is, what was another question could be, what was Maharaja's real intention behind getting married? That is, he wanted to find a girl, find a princess from a state which has large tiger population, so that he can kill tiger. Why was the Maharaja once in danger of losing his kingdom? It's the reference with the British, because he couldn't satisfy the British officer. He wanted to hunt in his kingdom, but he denied. Why did the Maharaja have to pay a bill of 3 lakh rupees to the British jewelers? Because he wanted to satisfy the wife of the British officer, because he thought that the British officer will lose his kingdom. When did the Maharaja decide to double the land tax for a village? It was an act of his whims and fancies and his illogical behavior, because he couldn't find any tiger, therefore he decided to double the land tax for a village. The bullet had missed it. Whose bullet had missed the tiger? Obviously the tiger king's bullet missed the tiger. How was the beast killed ultimately? A hunter killed it ultimately. You elaborate, I am just referring to the point. How does the 100 tiger take its final revenge upon the tiger king? That is, how his infection flares up and the prick develops into a suppurating sore, and it eventually lead to Maharaja's death. How does the take its final revenge upon the Tiger King. So these are the questions that are, I think, that are important for your examination purpose, or these are actually taken from the every part of this lesson, and these are very much related to the context and also understanding the story. So today I have finished, I have completed the Tiger King with remaining part with discussion on textual questions, additional short answer type questions also. I hope all of you have understood the text and there would be no difficulty in answering the questions. And remember, the use of words, use of irony, use of dramatic irony, use of verbal irony, that is use of exaggeration, etc. Because as I've told you, English is a language, don't treat it like other subject. You will have to be careful about using language and you can also apply it in your future. So that's all for today and thank you all.